Alright, hi guys, Brian here, and today I want to give you my quick impressions of SH Figuarts Broly. So, quick look at the box for you. Excuse me, Broly. So the box is big. It is just Broly. Plain, raw, plain, picture, random stuff. Plain. Okay, box away. He comes with only 3 faces, which I'm honestly disappointed with because I never have enough faces. He comes with a angry-ish face. None of these have pupils, which I believe is accurate to Broly here. Smirking, as you can see, and "Rah, rape you" face. I believe that's the technical term for it. He's only got 2 extra set of hands. The fist, Kamehameha hands, and energy blasting hands. So that's a little disappointing. But he does come with another figure stand and 3 special effects parts, which they only give you 2 prongs for, so it'd be kind of nice if there was a 3rd one to have for this guy. And a jumbo-sized Tamashi clip thing to hold him up. But he doesn't really always need it. Despite having really tiny feet, Broly actually is pretty easy to stand. Well, pretty decent to stand, I'll change that too. But let's just slide those off. As far as posability for Broly here, he's actually got a double jointed ball neck. I'll pull his head off because that's easy to do. He's got 2 ball joints in his neck, so it's actually rather impressive how they did this. And when you recapitate him, I believe is the correct terminology for that. He has a really good range of motion with his head, despite having huge neck and could have very easily not have had the range of motion for his head that he actually has. His arms have the standard issue Figuarts forward movement, bicep swivel, blah blah blah. Can do anything you want with his arm. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow, wrists are on a ball joint so they can do whatever you want. He's got an ab crunch so he can rock out all day. He's got a ball jointed waist. He's got the same SH Figuarts legs that go up and down depending on which one you need them to be in. So there's the 2 different heights. You couldn't see the ape earlier. He's got a double jointed knee, so his leg can theoretically go wherever you want. And his feet they're the same way with Frieza. They have the socket for the ball joint in the front of the foot as opposed to the bottom. I suspect that's probably an engineering thing to give him more range of motion with his feet, but it just seems odd to me. Either way, his feet are on ball joints and can do basically anything you want, and they've got the toe joint. Now, as you might have noticed, he's got these hard plastic skirt pieces. And for the most part, they get out of the way, but they don't quite, look all that awesome. Like, when you look here, you can really see a gap. This bit is on a ball joint. These guys, I suspect, are on a ball joint of some sort. And this back plate is just solid and is connected to this waist piece. So these things generally get out of the way, but I think it would have been better if they had been done in that type of, like Batman capes, I believe, are made from a very soft, pliable plastic that you can move around. I think it would have been better if they had done that for it instead of these hard plastic plates. But he is rather posable. You can get him in any pose you want, really. The skirt plates don't get in the way drastically much. Alright, so here's a quick size comparison for you. He is huge and beefy and huge. And Goku comes up to his abs, and they're all like, "What are you doing?" And Vegeta's like, "That's not how you do it." And Piccolo's like, "I'm gonna try this technique." And he is huge. Yeah. Big. Okay, whew. So this took quite a lot of time to set up. In fact, let me pick you guys up for a second and give you a better shot of it. So as you can see, Broly can do basically anything you need for articulation-wise and for display-wise. He is a very good Figuarts in that, you know, they're all really good. So, if, basically, he's par of the course. If you like Broly, I'm not personally a huge fan of Broly, but if you like him, he is definitely I'm not a fan of Broly the character, but if you do like Broly the character, then he is definitely a guy to pick up because, as you can see, he's flipping huge compared to these guys. Let me pick you up again. He's huge compared to these guys. So he's huge, and he's imposing, and he can kick all kinds of ass, especially if you have some effect parts. And just, he is definitely a guy that is going to be prominently displayed on my shelf because of the fact that he is just so big and imposing and massive and intimidating. And just to say it, this was this little setup here. This little setup here was a pain in the ass to set up because Broly did not want to cooperate in, you know, getting balanced on one leg and having two Tamashi arms to try and hold him up, and getting him to use Krillin as a weapon was painful because they don't like that orientation that they're in. In fact, if I pound on the desk, it's probably going to all fall apart. But for the purposes of a picture that's worth 1,000 words, I think Trunks can part us out on here. Help me! Okay, so for my final thoughts on him, I quite like him. He is a very imposing villain to display. He can kind of do the Kamehameha, although he's like hunched forward. All right. He just has this imposing stance about him. I say as I put him in his imposing stance. He has this imposing presence on the shelf. He's got articulation good enough to do whatever you want it to do, and if you have enough patience and Tamashi stands, you can get him to, apparently, river dance is what I'm going for. You can get him to do what you want, and he just looks badass. At first, I wasn't in love with the sculpt for the bare-chested muscles, especially like this back side. Just this looks hideous to me. But in person and in time, it's growing on me. So I kind of like him. Bad news is I can't swap his head with any other body because I could actually consider that for, like, you know, maybe if I wanted to do a custom of somebody using this head as a new character. But unfortunately, it's not really plausible. But yeah, I love the articulation on this guy. This ab crunch on him is just awesome. So my overall thoughts on him are pretty good. I am not a huge fan of Broly, but the figure itself is definitely I'm glad to have him. He's going to be a really cool figure to have on my shelf and occasionally be the centerpiece of a combat scene. So there's my final thoughts on him, guys. I'm curious to know what you guys think about him. How does he look to you in pictures and in this video and all that jazz? How was that little display that I spent about an hour setting up? What did you guys think about the special effects parts? I think they're pretty awesome, and, you know, could always use more of the stuff like that. But I'm curious to know what you guys think. So let me know what you guys think about them, and if you have any comments you want to leave, I'd love to hear them. Like, what's your guys' thoughts on Dragon Ball Z Battle? No, it's Revival of F. That's what it is. Yes, Revival of F. Because Frieza is coming back. I'm curious to know what you guys think about them. Meow. Bye.